So I'm just trying to get it situated. I'm happy to see you though.
Oh, good. Okay. In your hotel room.
Yeah. I just want to,
Yes, it's like crazy right now. And I can't see Emily yet. Is she here?
I'm here. You may not.
Oh,
be
there
able
she
to-
is. I see her.
Can you see me?
Yes.
I see you.
Yes.
Okay, terrific. Terrific.
Yes,
Um,
I'm connected. I'm just doing some trainings that are due for my school. They're due today. I have to have them finished. They're timed. But I work for Ashland Middle School, but I'm here. I can see you guys. I just don't have my camera on because I'm doing my trainings.
thank you.
But I'm here. I'm here.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, everybody. I think it's 5 o'clock and I think that all are ashore who are coming ashore. Is that right, Ann? Is there anybody we're missing?
Well, we're missing Amit, but I don't know where he is.
Okay, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. And I'm going to ask for, I tell you what, why don't you, Julie Gillis, will you read the land acknowledgement if you have it in front of you?
I do not have it in front of me. I have quite a lot
Okay.
of tabs going. So sorry. Oh, I do have it in front of me. I do. I
Great.
do.
Well, just before
I
you
will
do that,
read.
as I should say, I'm Emily Simon, and I want to welcome everybody to this meeting of the Social Equity Racial Justice Commission. And how we always start, and then we'll deal with introductions after this, okay, is with the with the land acknowledgement. And Julie Gillis is going to read that to us now.
I will read this, and I would love if I mispronounce the names of what I may be speaking, I would like to be educated and corrected. So please know that. We acknowledge and honor the Aboriginal people on whose ancestral homelands we work, the Yirra Kutsum Band of Shasta Nation, as well as the diverse and vibrant Native communities who make their home here today. We honor the first stewards in the Rogue Valley and the lands we love and depend on. Tribes with ancestral lands and in and surrounding the geography of the Ashland watershed include the original past, present, and future Indigenous inhabitants of the Shasta, Takelma, and Athabascan people. We also recognize and acknowledge the Shasta village of Kuakaka, where the Crow Lights, that is now Ashland City Plaza.
Thank you, Julie. We're going to skip over the approval of minutes because we don't have a quorum, so we can't do that. And I'm going to ask Ann if there has been any public input that has been submitted via the Surge contact form. Has there, Ann?
There is not.
Okay, so now what we're up to then is welcome and introduction of all of the people in this Zoom room. So I'm going to start with just a little bit of who I am. And when we come to Angela, Juan, I'm just looking at boxes here when I say this, Kendall and Angela, please do this with a little more robustness than I am doing in my introduction, because I know many of the people in this Zoomosphere. So my name is Emily Simon. I have the honor of being a Surge co-chair of this commission. I've been involved in the making Ashland, to be blunt, more accountable regarding diversity issues for the last 3 years. And I intend to continue as long as they allow me to. And that's who I am. I'm going to pass this over now to Kendall.
So I prefer Ken. When I'm called Kendall, it means I'm in trouble.
Thank you, Ken.
Parents would say, Kendall James, come in here. I'm Ken Englund. I'm the chair of the Public Arts Commission since May. Longtime resident of Ashland. We moved here in '98. Been active on a number of boards. Was the I think it was called the chair of the Friends of the Schneider and a docent there and on several committees. Was the president of Habitat for Humanity and a couple of others. And I'm just delighted to be with you all. This is such an important collection of minds. Next.
Thank you, Ken. Angela?
Hi, thank you. I'm Angela Decker. I work at SOU over at JPR. I'm a producer and a host there. I've lived in Ashland almost 18 years, which is just astounding. It's wonderful. And I'm so honored you guys invited me to this really important group, and I'm happy to be among you. So thank you.
Thank you. Cassie?
Hi, I'm Cassie. My pronouns are she, her. Thanks for having me. And I have been in Ashland for over 30 years. I have a dance studio and teach dance classes, which I've done here for a long time, over 20 some years. Angela's boys at some point danced with me. And I was previously part of the Say Their Names collective before I joined the Public Arts Commission. And since joining the Public Arts Commission, I've had the enormous pleasure of working on our equity lens as a commission, as well as shepherding in some beautiful projects into our community, including the BIPOC mural and the Otter Lifter canoe. And so we're excited to be here today to talk to you all about how we're working to do the work.
Thank you. Thank you. Juan Miguel?
Hi. So good to meet you guys. I'm really happy to be a part of this, and thanks, Precious, for thinking of me. It was really nice meeting you that one time, face to face. And yeah, I've been living here in Ashland for almost 4 years, coming January 1st. And I used to work at Southern Oregon University, part of the art department, and it was a little short but sweet, but because of COVID, I was kind of like let go. And now I'm establishing myself just as an artist here in Ashland. And it's a work in progress, but really love this community. And yes, I'm I'm just like happy to be part and happy to be I'm an open book, and I'm here to learn from all of you guys, and excited to like talk to you guys about like whatever issue we're and whatever topics like we're gonna all of us put our minds to. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Precious?
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. As you know, I've been traveling through Estonia, so very far. Also, Emily's been traveling too. I'm first and foremost associate professor of communication at Southern Oregon University, also a small family business owner in Ashland of Catalyst Ashland, a co-working art and technology space, and the co-chair of this commission. I'm going on my 9th year here in Ashland. So welcome and nice to see all of you. Thank you.
Julie.
Hi, my name is Julie Gillis. My pronouns are she, her. I have lived in Ashland for 6 years, moved here from Austin, Texas, and I work in the nonprofit world, been doing nonprofit fundraising and administration and board management for most of my career, alongside a lot of theater, dance, improv, and other fun artistic pursuits like that. I work currently at Oregon Shakespeare Festival, where I'm in their development department, and I am incredibly, honored and charged with being part of diversity, inclusion, equity, accessibility work, no matter where that may be found. So thank you.
Thank you. Tammy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sorry, I don't have my video on, but hello, 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 everyone. I'm so glad to see all of your lovely faces here today. My name is Tamara Williams. I also go by Tammy. I've been in Ashland for 2.5 years now, and I currently work at Ashland Middle School as an education assistant and as an assistant director for the BSU. My fingers are crossed because I got this great opportunity, and hopefully I will be able to be the director of all the elementary school BSUs in all of Southern Oregon. So, that's kind of something big that's been happening for me lately. So I've been working really closely with all the directors, and I'm just super excited to be back. I'm super excited to see all the new faces and all the old faces. My fiance was on the commission, our past commission, but because of his bandwidth, he wasn't able to do so. But I'm so happy to be back, and I am so grateful to see everyone. So thank you guys for having me back again.
Thank you, Tammy. I think we have not yet heard from Gina. So go ahead, Gina.
Thank you, Emily. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to hear the enthusiasm. It is good to be back. Welcome, Angela and Juan. I look forward to meeting you, Juan, and getting to know you better. Angela, we go way back. I've been here in Ashland for 16 years. I am your council liaison. I have been on several boards in Ashland and in Medford, and I am just grateful to be assigned to this commission because there's much work ahead of you to be done, and I'm just grateful that I can be a part of it and help in any direction that I can. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ann Seltzer, you are our last one, I think.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ann Seltzer. I am the staff liaison to this commission. I've lived in Ashland since 1978. We raised our daughters here. I chaired the Public Art Commission for 20 years before I retired, and then I was asked to come back and chair this commission.
You're saying chair, but I think you mean staffing.
Staff this commission. I don't know, a year ago, and it's nice to be back. It's a big challenge that this commission has, and they've been working so well together, and it's great to have new members, and we look forward to putting you all to work. So thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Our first order of business that we can accomplish is to hear from the representative of the Public Art Commissions who are here. So I think that's Ken and Cassie. And if you could please, I know that it would be helpful to both me and if I talk for Precious as well, to address some comments regarding the say their name statute that was proposed because we were both at the city council meeting where the subject was discussed, and there were passionate people talking, and that was wonderful to hear passion in front of the city council, to be honest about it, particularly on these issues. So if there's, when you address it and tell us what the Public Arts Commission does and what your charge is and what you have accomplished, or when you said you in particular, Cassie said we're looking at things through an equity lens, what that means to you, and then what's going on down there with the say their names, I think we'd really appreciate it. And just in terms of going completely off topic, but it's really not, and saying something, I so appreciate the Golden Spike statute that was put there, and to the extent to which you two had anything to do with that, let me thank you for bringing that minority community. And they weren't a minority community, actually here they were a majority community. But thank you for bringing that history forward in such an artistic and moving way.
I'm going to defer to Cassie. Let her begin.
Thank you, Emily, and thanks everyone for having us here. And Emily, I was one of the passionate speakers at that city council meeting. as were my children.
Right.
And yeah, and there's a lot to say about the Say Their Names project, and there's still a lot going on with that piece right now. Even today, there are new things. It's almost every single day something new. And but I would like to start with the equity lens piece, if that's okay.
Sure.
And Ken sort of actually wrote out a really nice comprehensive timeline of all the things we've done. And I also want to drop in that when I say we're doing the work, one of the things that I really feel we weren't paying attention to, and I wasn't on the commission at the time, but with the Golden Connection spike, that part about the Chinese workers on the railroad was not part of the call that was put out by the Public Arts Commission. That was brought in through the vision of the artist, and the artist had the eye to see that that was needed. So I feel like those are the things that we need to be asking ourselves when we're looking at commissioning art as a Public Arts Commission. Who are we missing? Who is not being represented? Who should be commissioned to do this artwork that is representing these people? And where is the money? What community is that money then going to? That artist did a fantastic job, but she was not a Chinese artist, and she had a huge community of folks that were supporting her work and helping her. But those are the things that I really, really want to bring into our future work. So because of all of you asking us back in, I believe, April, what are y'all doing as a Public Arts Commission to be applying an equity lens? I was like, yes, thank you for asking, because this is what we need to be asking ourselves. I was so happy. So I was asked, probably because of my enthusiasm, to create a presentation for the Public Arts Commission. And we did it in two parts. And the first part was like the most high speed, as much information as I could throw at everybody as I possibly could in a 15-minute PowerPoint presentation. And I just kind of quickly wrote down, so you have a sense of what was in that presentation. It started with land acknowledgement, conversation, and a couple examples of land acknowledgements. We talked about ground rules that are often used in race conversations, which I see as part of your agenda. We talked about what an equity lens is, what equity versus equality and justice are. We talked about the privilege walk. I showed a short video of children doing the privilege walk. Talked about the power and privilege wheel. I touched on Unpacking the Invisible Knapsack and White Privilege by Peggy McIntosh. And then we talked about how can we apply an equity lens using examples like I gave you in terms of our future questions we should be asking ourselves when we're looking at putting calls out for art and artists. And then I did give a bunch of examples of what other cities are doing. Seattle is doing amazing work, not just recruiting artists of color, but also educating artists of color so they understand what the public arts process is, creating forums that are free to, and recruiting and giving scholarships and grants to artists of color to come and learn about the public arts, and then putting those folks as a priority for future artists for their public arts. And they have just extensive, transparent parts of their website, and then also community work that they're doing. And they actually are called the Seattle Office of Culture and Arts. So they're a little bit broader than just art, but they are a great example of what a city can do. So that was part one, and that happened in May. And I will tell you, it was a lot, and people looked at like they were fried and they had no idea how to respond to most of that information. And then in June, we revisited it for 15 minutes, and sort of like I just did with you, I went through again, here's what we talked about. And then we sort of digested it. But again, 15 minutes is like no time. So it was very minimal digesting. And then in that same meeting, as Ken will mention, that is when we've initially voted to endorse the Ancestors Call crystallizing, Ancestors Future Crystallizing Our Call sculpture. So that was a big meeting. And from there, it's been so much about the Say Their Names process for that installation. So I'll let Ken go through a little bit of a broader timeline, and then maybe we can go back to what's happening with the Say Their Names installation. Is that all right? Or are there any questions?
I have a question. When you say the Say Their Names installation, for people who may not know, is that the same thing as crystallizing the future?
Yes, that's Ancestors Future Crystallizing Our Call is what the Say Their Names collective has been working for the last almost 2 years, year and a half, actively working to have a permanent installation by a Black artist selected by the broader community, but in the end of the final 2 selected by the broader community, selected by a Black selection panel of local folks. So that's what you're seeing now, the Ancestors Future Crystallizing Our Call. What is to happen with the fence at Railroad Park is still unknown at this time. That is still hopefully actively a piece of community art. And where I am really trying not to connect the two really so much at this point, because I'd like to focus on the permanent installation and hopefully have the community caring for the fence. And we'll see at some point what comes of that. And there's a lot more history to that fence line and how this all came about, like so much more, but I know we don't have time for all of that. So you're
Thank
welcome
you.
to email me later and we can talk or whatever if you want more information.
Okay, that was a clarification point. Ken, please go ahead.
Well, let me ask, well, first, thank you for having us. This is just a great exchange, and I'm sure that we can collaborate going forward. So this is really a good beginning. How much time is a lot? When do you expect to go to dinner?
Well, our meetings need to end at 6:30, and
Okay,
we initially put you in for 20 minutes. And I think that right now it's 5:20, but there were things that took way less time. So why don't you feel like, I think you could probably talk between the two of you for another 10 minutes at least, and then we can see where we're at with the agenda.
perfect, perfect. I need to have a time frame because my kids will tell you that I don't know how to hang up the phone. So let me speak just generally first. This is really important work. I don't need to tell any of you. You all have your shoulder to this wheel, and that's wonderful to join you and be in this. Let me just mention that there have been, standing on the shoulders of previous public arts commissions, much that graces the city. You know about the We Are Here hole at the end of town and in the library. There's the Guanajuato Sister City mural, which is was done by their local artists. There's, of course, the BIPOC mural that was done in, the PAC approved it in 21 in Peace Plaza, I think it's called. There is the Athabascan carving post. It's an educational piece that is used, and also there's pictures of Betty LeDuc's work. There's, of course, the Golden Connections, which has the Mandarin Chinese characters and honoring the laborers that were here and all of that history. So Ashland has a rich culture, and one way or another, a good deal is here. I didn't mention the Japanese gardens, and you probably saw today or in the mail that there's a dedication October 22nd for that. So quite a bit. Let me just go historically. The April 21 Public Arts Commission first received the presentation by the Say Their Names Collective. And their intent at that time was to make a gift to the city of a permanent installation representing the huge outpouring that followed the death of George Floyd and subsequent death of Aiden Ellison. That, I think all of you have seen it many times. We were just delighted to be at the installation. It was cold. A young woman who danced with a slight dress. That's my view. I said, "Can I borrow some of your blood? This doesn't seem to bother you." And she said, "Yes, I have Mongolian heritage and I'm really good at dancing in the cold." So coming forward just a little bit, as Cassie mentioned, in May, we had the beginning of the presentations on the equity lens, and that was an amazing process, even though it went fast and there's a lot to unpack. It did stimulate each one of us. And the question I got from Anne was, how are you responding to the idea of an equity lens? And I can't speak for everybody, but I know that every one of us that are there have been hooked in our innards with this question and the challenge. And just bringing the focus on it has really highlighted and emphasized the whole ideas of equity, diversity, and inclusion. We just go on with the laundry list here a little bit. So they proposed that. It came back to us in June, as Cassie said, and it was discussed extensively with Micah. We talked about the criteria. Their committee had already reviewed the public arts criteria. Number 9 on that list, I think there are 11 of the criteria, is diversity. It's not explained. There's a capture sentence. To me, the artwork is, yes, it's from a Black artist. It represents the Say Their Names collective, which formed in February of 21. The art itself is subjective, as is all art, but it speaks to the idea for me of inclusion. Not just that it was a Black artist, that we now have a piece of sculpture from a Black artist, but this is a presentation, I'm still looking for a word here, of a whole subset of our quote egalitarian culture. And it's not from the point of view of the dominant culture, which I think is the idea. If you go back as far as you can in recorded history, or not recorded even, art always has an imprimatur of the people in power. And if you go to the Etruscans, to the Greeks, to the Romans, to the church, to the princes, all of it, you don't need a history lesson from me, but that's really what it comes down to, is that there is a cultural construct. And this piece represents so much that is within that construct and invites us in. I hope all of you have taken time to review and see the power of public art. The Public Arts Commission did this in 2020. It's about a 20-minute presentation. It's of public art across the world. It includes 2 or 3 Ashland pieces. Velocity is there, and the Sister City mural is there. I think the fountain in Lithia Park might be there. In any event, the messages are art is meant to entertain, engage, challenge, bring up issues in society. There's about 6 buzzwords like that. So it's really a good place to get your mind set. So I can answer some more questions about Say Their Names in response to your questions. We did the equity lens twice. We have adopted a land acknowledgement, and we went back because a couple of commissioners, Cassie being one, said, this doesn't seem complete. It does not acknowledge that the land was taken, that the indigenous people were moved away from their land. And there's all about the war and the wars and all that. But that point is made by a second or sentence or so by the Public Arts Commission. And it would be not bold of me to suggest, but the City Council might look at it. It's in keeping what SOU has, which is broader than just the standard, I won't say standard, but the typical 1 paragraph. So there's that. we did a follow-up at the August, at the, just this month, at the last meeting of the equity lands with that acknowledgement. We have, let's see, what else do we want to say? We have gotten some letters. There's been a social network of commentary about the work of Micah. I don't read it. I get reports about it. I don't have enough time. So let me stop there. I kind of sketched quite a bit and certainly open to questions, and more precisely questions about Micah Blacklight's work and the status of it.
Ken, if you would please, or Cassie or somebody, email Ann Seltzer the land acknowledgement that you're using, because I think that if we are deficient in some way, I think I'd like to see that and see if we want to add in a sentence or two. So I think I'd really appreciate that.
Sure.
You would do that. Thank you. I know that we're in the midst of your presentation, but one of our other members just joined us. Amit, can you hear me? Amit, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you. Good
Great.
evening.
Good evening, Amit. Nice to hear your voice.
Nice.
Everybody had introduced themselves before you got on the phone or before you got connected, but now that you're here, and then Ken, if you can just hold your thought, and everybody else hold your thought for questions and comments to Ken, it would give Amit, and there's Amit's face that we can all see. Nice beard, Amit, nice beard.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Working
If-
from home a lot, so I guess that's an advantage. You know, you can grow
Right.
long beards. Yeah.
Amit, could you just tell the folks who are here who have not met you yet, just sort of an encapsulated version of who you are and why you are on this commission?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Amit Chaudhary. I'm from India. I have been living in Ashland for last 3 years, and now kind of on and off. I'm on site as a IT engineer in a healthcare company. It's called Change Healthcare, and they needed me here in St. Louis. So I'm currently with them attending some seminars, kind of changing some things in the office. So I have to come here. I joined Search Commission when it started last year. And the very reason that motivated me was one of my really good friends, Mingpa, who was a key people, one of the key peoples that brought forward the cases of racial discrimination in the Valley, and he asked me to help him out. So I kind of got started with him, just attending the meetings here and there, and just kind of attending some rallies. And then when it was formed, I was interested in joining the commission's first batch. So that's why I joined it. I'm here for all my support, whatever I can do, wherever I can fit. To hear you guys is a very eye-opening experience. I just get to know a lot of things, which is, for me as an immigrant, as a recent immigrant, like I came to US in 2015 January to do my degree from Utah. I completed my computer engineering degree, and I didn't know much about, honestly, everything that I know about America is by movies at the time or by internet. So coming here was I was still in the bubble, and going out in the community with different people, listening to their stories, and it kind of made me realize that a lot needs to be known, and maybe if I can tell them my story, maybe somebody will resonate with that. So overall, yeah, that's who I am, and if you need your computer to be fixed, you can call me. I'm a computer engineer. And yeah,
Everybody always needs that. I mean, there isn't
I
a
guess-
single person in this Zoom room who doesn't need that. Except
You know,
for
what's
you,
funny is that
your husband
what's
can
funny
do
is that
it.
my father used to think I can fix computers, but like he didn't know that I'm more on the software side. And he's like, whenever his computer is not working in some ways, he used to call me and I couldn't fix it. And he's like, you just paid freaking thousands of dollars on the education, you can't even fix a computer. And it's a very funny thing to hear. And I'm telling him I don't know everything. So, anyways, guys, yeah, it's nice to be here. Right now, I'm in St. Louis. It's a beautiful atmosphere. You can see my backyard. 2 dogs, Jimmy and Jojo, right here. And I just finished off my work today to the company. I'll be here for a few months and then I'll be back in Ashland and hopefully I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you. It's so
Thank you.
nice to see you. It's so nice to hear you, Tammy. It's so nice to see the old folks still with us. Ken, I'm sorry I stopped you there in the middle,
No
but
problem. No, that's great.
I just wanted to make sure everybody got introduced.
Absolutely.
So does anybody have, Ken had mentioned the social media storm, and Precious and I were at the city council meeting. Of course, Gina was there too because she was on the city council. But I was wondering, my question would be for either of you is, what is, and I understand there has been a storm on social media, but what is the current status of what is happening with the sculpture as we talk right now? That is my question. And then I'll open it up to everybody else on the commission.
I think I could tackle that. Cassie, help me. So the proposal came, the idea came in 2021 in April, and the Say Their Names Collective had been working. Public Arts Commission, then chair, and actually at that meeting, there were 3 chairs. And they all agreed that the Public Art Commission should look at this as a gift. So that has to do with all the controversy because the code is pretty clear about what you can do if it's a gift. I'll put a comma there or parentheses, something. So it moved forward. And this year in June, Micah came forward and had a lovely presentation. He's such an enthusiastic young man, young to me. And we had a lengthy discussion. We talked about the criteria of how the work addresses the criteria that are in the code. So we endorsed it in that meeting. We said, in brief words, we endorsed the concept because it's a 2-dimensional concept at this point, drawn out on to scale and all of that. And the endorsement of the concept implies that when it's completed substantially according to that, it would be accepted into the public art collection. So that's kind of the broad brush. We got a lot of feedback. Our council liaison brought to us a number of concerns she had heard in the July meeting. So I scheduled it again for rediscussion really in August. And we had the almost identical conversation. People were more entrenched in their point of view, obviously. They're human beings. And we re-endorsed it. That went to the city council. Since then, the council's agenda has been very full with all of the changes. So as your commission, ours will become a public arts advisory committee. The endorsement was not accepted, but it was, I'm trying to think what the step was. So there are some counselors who are working, Gina, you can help me here. There are some counselors who are working on an acceptance document outside of the code and outside of the Public Arts Commission. And there's maybe 5 paragraphs to it. That's the status. My understanding is it will come to the council on September 20th for discussion and hopefully action. I'll stop there. Yeah, Cassie. I shouldn't you to.
No, you're good, Ken. Thank you. That was great. So just today, we received an email from our staff liaison that Joe Lassard, who's the city manager, decided that our endorsement was not accepted from the Public Arts Commission. What that means, I don't know. Frankly, there wasn't any reason given to us commissioners as to why that happened. All of us felt, not all of us, several of us felt very clear that we were acting within the code and had done many readings of the code and much conversation about what the code was saying. And to just throw my personal bit in, is I feel like this has been held to a different standard of process. And I did express that publicly. And this again, to me, feels like it's being held to a different standard of process. So I will continue to write and ask questions why there wasn't accepted. I don't understand. This committee, the Say Their Names Collective, which Keith Jenkins actually was on before. This commission or collective, they call themselves, went through a year and a half of really in-depth process with commissioners, with the previous chair of the Public Arts Commission, with Ken, with Anne even, to make sure that they followed the Public Arts Commission municipal code, even though they didn't necessarily even need to do that to offer a gift to the city's Public Arts Commission. So I'm very confused as to why we're here and why this has been such an arduous process. And yeah, I guess I'll just leave it at that. So there's a lot to ask. There's a lot to push on and a lot to get loud about and a lot to say, like, why is it this way? So I wish I had an answer for you. I don't.
I wrote back after that. I'm sorry, Gina, I was just going to tag on, if I may. I wrote back from my standpoint to our staff person, Joanna Tuthill, that when he can or when she can, we would very much like to understand the rationale. And my intention, and I'll just say it here, is to invite him, Joe Lassard, our city manager, to probably the October Public Arts Commission. Obviously, he's a busy guy, but we'd like to have his aspirations for public art, how it can play in the questions about diversity, inclusion, equity. And going forward, we will have 9 members plus 2 more staff people. That's going to be a committee of 14 people. I doubt if we can all talk in 90-minute segment meetings. So let me stop there and Gina can help.
Gina, go ahead.
Thank you, everybody. I just wanted to let you know, first off, I want to thank the Public Arts Commission for doing their due diligence, not once, not twice, but 3 times. It's correct. We've been doing this for a year and a half. Why does this have to be belabored and just drug out to the last minute? There's many questions to be asked. It is going to come in front of council on September 20th. However, I am from the mindset of all the work that's been done and what this is and what it represents to Ashland. It needs to be endorsed by our Public Arts Commission. This is a part of us and this is who we say we are. So I have that question for Mr. Lassard also. However, I do not want to drag this out to 6 months from now and there's no endorsement, there's no fundraising, there's no accepting. It goes on and on and on. I want to get this done. So I am going to ask Joe Lassard myself. Also, in the process, and I think Cassie touched on this for a sec, is that if you want to get something on the agenda, 2 counselors have got to come together to get it on the agenda. The Pacific Public Arts Commission, the liaison is Councilor Steffinger. She emailed myself and Councilor Graham. And I emailed her back and I said, I will support this. However, I had a couple of questions which she answered. And one of which was the location that Micah, the artist, had chosen. It was kind of broad. Well, we can put it there or we can put it over here. And the actual location is Ashland Creek Park, not Railroad Park. And so to be able to go to the location where the artist would like it to be and have Joe Lazard present, this body can be present, Pat can be present, but to have the artist, to have Parks there, and to have the city manager. This is what we want, check, sign off on it. This is the way it's going to be. And I believe that of all the things that have been endorsed and accepted in Ashland, this has got to be endorsed and accepted, endorsed by the PAC Commission and not just a gift.
I would just footnote a little bit for more understanding. So the PAC has addressed it, as Gina says, 3 times. I think it was in June. The Ashland Parks and Rec Commission endorsed it. They had previously talked about sites and thought it probably would be better not to compete with Golden Connections in Railroad Park. So that the suggestion was, okay, there's a good, Hersey is a well-traveled street and so forth, and it's near the skate park, etc. So there is an oval, if you've been there, toward the front of the, well, it's just off the street before the community gardens. And that's what Micah has been planning on. They endorsed that. And then was the councilor's, that's the right word, suggestion, maybe it could be at another place. I don't know where that's going to end up, but the commission, take a lot of words, did endorse it on 2 occasions. So there have actually been 5 commission meeting endorsements, if you count the 2 of the Ashland Parks and Rec and the 3 of the Public Arts Commission.
Okay, Ken, excuse me, I'm gonna move us along a little bit because it's 10 of 6. And I'm gonna pick up on something that Julie Gillis wrote in the chat, okay? And that is, and we have a quorum now because Amnita's here, and if I need to make a motion, I will, is what can we do as Surge? Because I think this is a very important issue. And again, I'm exercising chair's prerogative in saying that, is what can we do to support you in bringing this to the endorsement by the Ashland City Council, and as Gina said, ending the process and moving the project forward. How can we help have that happen? And if that is a subject for a further discussion and you can't tell us that now in 2 or 3 sentences, I think if I could get a sense, I'm just trying to move the agenda forward when I say that. I think there may be energy on this body to work with you to figure out how we could help you in getting this done. What would work the best for you two at this point?
I have a top of the hat thought. It's time to not focus on the process. It's time not to make the Public Art Commission the focus of ire and whatever, and on the other side similarly. I believe the focus from Surge could be, here is the meaning and the potential for healing that is represented by this sculpture and its artist, and it's part of his conception. So that anyway would be to do it in that frame.
Okay, and would that be a motion that because September 20th, we're not going to have another meeting between now and September 20th. So my question to you is, would that be a letter from Surge? Would that be because I think they're also having, and I'm going to talk about this, members of my commission and potential members of my committee. Okay, I just don't know what to call us right now. That's mostly for your benefit, Angela and Juan Miguel. Would that be a letter? Would that be showing up to testify about that issue in addition to all of the other issues that we always show up to testify about? What would the most helpful thing be now in that regard? And Gina, if you know the answer, I'd be glad to entertain it from anybody who can answer that, so that I can frame either a motion or determine if we have person power, excuse me, to do it. Gina first, and then Ann Seltzer.
Thank you. And thank you, Tammy. I saw what you just put in there in the chat. And it's my experience being on council. I say send a letter of support. Send a letter of support as a body, individually. If you as a body endorse this commission/committee has a lot of power. Use it. Now is the time, I believe, to use it. And so I say endorse it, flood the emails. This is what we want. This is what's needed. Use your own words. Yeah.
Great.
Endorse.
Thank you. Ann Seltzer, did you want to say anything else?
I just was going to support, or I will support what Gina said. If you want your voices to be heard by the council, submitting either a letter collectively by Surge directly to the city recorder and ask her to include it in the packet. That deadline would be, I would say September 14th. She would need to receive it in order to include it in the packet for the meeting on September 20th. You can also voice your support as individuals, and you can send an email directly to the city recorder voicing your support. So if it doesn't come together, that all the editing and approval, I mean, you're not going to have another meeting for someone to approve. So if you could make a motion, Emily, asking the members that are present today to approve you writing a letter, or Precious writing a letter, or Julie writing a letter. You have to give permission to somebody and approve it in order for it to be submitted, because you're not going to have the opportunity to come back together and edit and approve. So
Okay.
And what is the email for if we wanted to do, because I'm all for if we can like edit, like put it on a Google Doc and then we'd all edit it and then have maybe one person do it completely, like redo it completely and submit it. But I would love to do an email to whatever the recorder's office is. Can you put it in the chat, or is it on the Ashland homepage, or where can we find that information?
the email address for the city recorder, I'll put it into chat right now.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to make a two-part motion. I don't know, a three-part motion, because I want this to move along. I'm going to call on Julie Gillis, and I'm going to ask Julie, okay, and I can't keep up with your chats and talk to you at the same time, okay? So bear with me, everybody. I'm going to ask Julie if she is the person who is willing to write the draft. Okay, if we can approve Julie writing the draft and signing the letter on behalf of the committee, and then to the extent that there is time, Julie could then submit it to all of us for comments as a Google Doc. But she would take responsibility for the first draft and the final send. Okay, Julie,
Sure.
Before I make my motion, I want to know if this can happen.
I'm happy to do that. I also noted that Tammy was noting a letter in the doc, so I don't want to, if Tammy, you have a voice that you'd like to own the draft, I'm happy to turn that over to you or work together with you, but
Or we can collaborate as well. Like if you have something that's written, and if I have maybe a paragraph you want to put in and you can edit it good and just send it all to us, I'm happy to do that as well, Julie.
Then fine, then yes, Emily. Thank you.
Great.
Tammy.
Okay, so here is my motion, folks. Is I move, okay, that actually, I'm going to make the motion and then still, Precious, you may have to take over running the meeting because I just made a motion, okay? But I'm going to move that we authorize Julie Gillis with Tamara Williams, to draft a letter in support of the say their names I keep forgetting the way in which Micah has entitled this, of our ancestors into the future. okay? That we draft a letter of support, that it gets sent to the city of recorder, that it be done on behalf of Surge. And that Julie Gillis has the authority, as does Tamara, to sign the letter and to make sure that it gets to the city council by September the 14th. Is there a second motion?
I could second.
Okay, Precious seconds it. Okay, is there any further discussion on the motion? We're going to have to vote then right now on the motion. And I'm going to have to ask you orally, because Tammy, we can't see you, okay? So I'm going to just go around and say the names and make sure that people are voting aye. Yes, and
I just want to restate the motion, make sure I have this correct. The motion is for Surge to authorize Julie Gillis and Tammy Williams to draft a letter of support for the project Ancestors into the Future and submit it to the city recorder by September 14th for inclusion. I'm adding this, Emily, inclusion in the city council packet.
that is correct. That's the motion, which Precious seconded it.
Ancestors Future Crystallizing Our Call is the name of the artwork, just to get that one bit correct in there. Sorry to interrupt, Emily.
No problem. Cassie,
Cassie.
will you put that in the chat?
Yes, please put it in the chat.
Okay. Good. Thank you. All right. Now, Precious seconded the motion. Okay. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Okay, here we go. Only current commissioners can vote. So this means Angela and Juan Miguel, because you haven't been appointed yet, that's supposed to happen on Tuesday. You cannot vote, but we very much appreciate you being here. Okay, so Anne, here we go. Ready? Amit, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Julie Gillis,
Yes.
Precious,
Yes.
Emily, yes. Okay, motion carries. Now, I don't believe that I need to make a motion that people who feel compelled or even want to individually send an email. We always have the right to send emails to our city councilors or to anybody else, but it helps if you identify yourself as a member of this commission. All right? Well, Ken, yes.
Well, a second thought, which, and maybe Cassie has the same thing, I believe you should do an endorsement motion now as your commission. So the Surge Commission on this date endorses the work of Micah Blacklight representing the Say Their Names Collective with his sculpture, Ancestors Future Crystallizing Our Call.
So moved.
I can't make motions. Well, I am a commissioner, so I guess I could do that.
No, I have just taken everything you said and I moved it
Oh, you did.
as
Oh,
part of this commission. Okay,
happy.
I'm pretty good on this stuff. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion on the motion before Anne? Would you like to restate it?
How do you spell Micah's last name?
Black light, just like it's BLACKLIGHT. And it's MICH. Yeah, MICAH.
MICHA.
AH.
Okay, so the motion, as I think I heard, is that the Social Equity and Racial Justice Commission endorses the work of Micah Blacklight and his project Ancestors Future Crystallizing Our Call.
I think you should, if I may, add this, Say Their Names Collective Gift. And because it's a gift from the Say Their Names Collective.
I don't think we should do that, Ken, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't, and I consider this to be discussion on my motion, so it's fine, even though you're not on the commission, okay? I don't want to get into the issue of the process, okay? I want to get into the fact that we support this artwork being done as opposed to as a gift to the city, or I don't know, I don't want to get into the issue of gift to the city versus funding from the city. I think it's important that the city fund this. I think it's important that this get done in the most serious way that it could get done. And I don't want to have somebody read this later and say, Serge was only for it if it was a gift to the city, because I don't believe that's how I feel. So that's why I'm not comfortable adding in what you're suggesting.
I'll just bat the ball back. I think you need to name, Say Their Names Collective as the people supporting Micah. He's representing them.
That's fine. We said that he's representing them. We can say Mike Blacklight, on behalf of the Say Your Names Collective, and leave it at that.
However, he's
Okay. Anne, are you okay with that?
So
I want to try to get this ironed out right now if we can. So bear with me, everybody. I know there's other things we have to talk about.
I do think it complicates it by pulling in the Say Their Names Collective.
Then just let's leave it how it was with Michael
Okay.
Blacklight. Okay,
Okay.
and let it go with that. Okay.
Good.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, who was the second?
Precious.
Precious.
Okay. Once again, I have to do a roll call. Okay, so Amit,
You want a yes or no on this one?
I want a yes. I want you to vote either yes or no.
Gotcha. Okay, yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
thank you. Julie,
Yes.
Precious,
Yes.
and Emily, yes, it's unanimous. Okay, now, I'm going to move on. Ken and Cassie, you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to leave. You can, it's a public meeting. You can do whatever you want, but I won't be able to allow either of you to talk again. Okay, thank you very much for coming and for your time and for raising this issue to us and giving us the honor of doing something to help.
Thank you, Ken and Cassie, for the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much for having us.
Many, many thanks.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
I will just ask, when are one of you coming to our meeting? We'll talk
When's
about
your
that.
next meeting?
September 16, I think it is. We'll talk about that. I can call you.
Okay, do it through Ann.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Good, thank you. Folks, I'm gonna move us on to the overview update on the proposed commission restructuring. And it's set for 30 minutes, but it's not going to take that long because there's other things we have to talk about that are more important. This is Emily's encapsulated version of what is going on, okay? So to the extent that we can move this, and then I'm glad to answer questions that need, that where people have them. So I believe that it was initially in May, there was a proposal that was floated by the city manager to restructure the commissions into committees. And part of that restructuring of commissions into committees meant that the current members of Surge needed to express their desire to continue in a committee structure by name instead of by a commission structure. There was no change at all in our duties as Surge, except for one thing, which I'm actually in support of, which dropped the conciliatory services. Other than that, our charge is and was identical. The problem that happened after that was that the city council, and Gina, with all due deference when I say these things, this is my version of it. The problem is that after that, the city council did not move expeditiously on the proposal, which was exacerbated by the fact that there was very poor communication between those of us, particularly me and Precious, who are the co-chairs of this commission, as to the impact that that would have. And there was changing in the wording regarding the members of the commission and the makeup of the commission. So by the time we got to the actual voting on, is there going to be a commission change to a committee change or not, we wound up losing 3 members of this commission, of the current Surge Commission, and we wound up without Angela and Juan Miguel actually being appointed after they had expressed interest to be appointed. The impact of that for us in real life is that Amit, Tammy, Emily, and Precious and Julie right now are 5 people, and 5 people are currently a quorum. So it means that we can't, any of us miss a meeting, or we can't make motions and pass things. This is an untenable situation. And I have been showing up at every city council meeting and testifying on behalf of this commission. I will continue to do that no matter what it means. And I have been assured by the mayor, and even though she had assured me in the past that this would happen, it has not yet happened, that Angela and Juan Miguel will be appointed at the September 6th meeting, which means that starting in the October meeting, we will be able to fully function again, either as a commission or as a committee. Now, when I talked about the importance of the city of Ashland knowing how important this is to us to have such a commission or a committee, is there will be, because of the problems in rolling this out, there is a study session on Monday, September the 19th, where the city council will be doing a study session solely on this topic. And then this is supposed to come before council on September 20th, which PS you might notice is the same date as the prior agenda topic, okay? It is supposed to come before council on that date. Even if it does, it won't be done yet, because then after that, it needs to go to the city attorney's office for review, and then it needs to be put into an ordinance, and then it needs to come back for a final vote. So in my humble opinion, and like I said, this is Emily, all right? You're getting the pure, unadulterated Emily Simon version of this. Turn it into a classic comic if you want to. Is this issue will not be decided for a number of months. And in the meantime, we will get Angela and Juan Miguel appointed, because I must write to somebody about this on a weekly basis. So that is my version. Gina maybe wants to make either a couple of comments. Gina, I'm just going to tell you this. It's 6:10 and we need to discuss before 6:30, both the Pride Parade on October the 8th and Indigenous Peoples Day on October the 10th.
I'm going to keep it short. So
Good.
in a nutshell, correct. We are going to go from commission to committee. Nothing is going to change, just like Emily said. the words are changing. You're still advisory body to the council. Last meeting that we had in August, the meeting went beyond 9:30. We didn't get a lot of things said or talked about, and appointing people to different commissions / committees was part of it. That was a packed, heated, drawn out meeting. We were all, a lot of us were there, and I was exhausted. It was exhausting, okay? However, you are on the consent agenda, September the 6th. Angela, Juan, you're appointed. No worries, no problems. The consent agenda is at the top of the meeting, so that is going to be a done deal. How the turnout is going to be commission, committee, most likely you will be a committee. You will carry on as you have been carrying on. And so it will be business as usual. I'm done.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions, comments, criticisms, compliments, or any other adverbs? Because I'll make sure on September the 6th that that's on the consent agenda, even though I am currently traveling. I will be there on September 19th for the study session. And then I will see if by any chance, because this is asking a lot of my time in front of the city council, if by any chance, perhaps Precious can be there on September 20th, but we haven't talked about it yet.
You
If
know,
she can't, I'll do it.
and something I want to say too, Emily, is I went in front of Joe Lazard, and you know the verbiage that should not have belonged there, that delayed the process, but that was important verbiage to be removed. So
Right, if that verbiage had not been removed, I would not be here. So let's move on. Okay. Now, the next thing is Precious is going to take over now because it's already 6:13, and Precious is going to take over on celebrating Pride on October the 8th, which is a Saturday. And Precious, I think you ought to mention October the 7th and October the 6th. 6th is our next meeting. 7th is October the 10th is Indigenous Peoples' Day.
Okay, yes. Did Ken want to say something before I
I do
start?
quickly, I have to go, but I want to thank you again. This has been very productive. And Emily, I would like to get the movie rights, the book rights, and the play rights for whatever your life is.
I think that, Ken, you're not the first person who said that. And I said, it's only okay with me if it gets rated PG.
Put it up with Christie's, you'll get a lot of money.
Thank you.
All right, bye, thanks.
Okay, thank you. And just to transition from Emily's topic to the topic of our different types of participation, I do want to thank the members who have stayed on the commission and also our new incoming members, Angela and Juan Miguel. We're very excited to have you, and thank you for your patience. Pretty much everybody who's been on this commission and worked with our commission, because it has been a lot of different changes throughout the summer. So I see it and I'm appreciative of it. I'm going to mention some upcoming ways in which our commission is going to participate. There's different dates, so I don't expect you to remember them. I'll send an email out to Anne, and Anne, you can send it out to the commission if that's okay.
And why don't you start out, excuse me, and why don't you start out by putting them in the chat tonight? Putting the dates in the chat tonight, and then we'll send them out separately as well. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. The first one, so last year when we had our meetings, for our meetings, we have not actually even met in person because of the pandemic and people's different health concerns. So we've been meeting on Zoom. We did have an informal type of get together during the summer in July. But one of the things that we talked about was, how are we going to present ourselves to the city of Ashland as a commission and to our community? And one of the things that we voted on was coming and being a participant in the Southern Oregon Pride Parade. That is on Saturday, October 8th. And And I'll also get to the October 7th one about Catalyst, but
Sorry.
it's okay, no problem. I just wanted to start out with the way that we're presenting ourselves to our community. And so Saturday, October 8th at 10 a.m., that's when everyone convenes as a commission on Union Street and Siskiyou Boulevard to do the Southern Oregon Pride Parade. And we have, Emily and I discussed different ways of just making it simple. So ourselves, including Angela and Juan Miguel, and our families, all of our families can participate in walking in this parade. And Emily had suggested just doing a rainbow, wearing different colored shirts, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, of us in a line.
I want purple. I want purple. I called it.
Okay, Tammy, you got purple.
I called it
I
already.
got purple. All right.
This is being recorded, so
Right.
yeah.
I like green. If I could choose, I want green, but you could put dibs on your colors if you want. But simply said, that's something that is very easy that we can do, and your families are also welcome. So if you would like to have your family walk with you, let us know. And I'm going to put the date of letting us know if you're going to participate September 30th, because I know it takes a while for people to know their schedules, especially since school's starting and all these different events are starting. But by September 30th, if you can email me and let me know if you and your family members are going to participate, that will be good. And yes, I think Anne's going to put the dates in the chat. And I know some of you have already walked in this parade before, but it starts at 12 p.m., but we organize ourselves at 10 a.m. On Thursday, which would also be our surge meeting day, at Catalyst, you could come by anytime. And if you want to make a poster or just have space to make a poster or meet, I'm going to have that day open, Catalyst Ashland at 357 East Main Street. That's our co-working art space. You could come make a poster. You don't have to have a poster, but if there's a banner or a type of sign that you want, you could come do that as well. Before we move on to Indigenous
Wait a minute.
peoples-
Time out.
Yeah.
Time out. Two things, Precious. If people can also say what color they want, now that
Okay.
Tammy said purple and Precious has said green, I'm saying red. Okay, and then if anybody else can weigh in when they send something back to Precious on the email saying what color they want, that's question number one. And then comment number two, Precious, is you said about coming to Catalyst on October the 7th, which is when we have our meeting anyway,
Yeah.
and doing signs and stuff.
Mhm.
Is there, no, October 7th is First Friday. October
I mean,
6th.
yeah, October 6th, yes.
Okay,
Thursday.
all right. So I'm a little concerned about that because how are we gonna have a meeting if people are making posters?
Oh, I mean, all day it will be open. You could come
Okay, all
anytime during
day.
the day. Yeah, just anytime. It doesn't have to be at the, like, all together.
Great, terrific.
Thank you for putting that in the chat, Anne. Any questions or any other ideas, concerns about Southern Oregon Pride Parade? And also if Gina wants to talk about anything about the parade or the background, that's welcome too.
No, I think we're looking at time right now, so just go have a good time.
Okay, great. Okay, moving on to Indigenous Peoples Day events. So several years ago,
Precious, I'm so sorry. Tell me again, meeting at 10 o'clock where? What is the location?
Oh, the Southern Oregon Pride Parade meets at 10 a.m. All the people that line up for the parade, and it's on Union Street and Siskiyou Boulevard. And the
Okay,
parade,
Thanks.
thank you.
If
So
you can send
Indigenous,
the email too, the dates for that and the time, if you can send that in an email, because I save all the stuff you send me. So an email will be great too.
yeah, we'll do that. Thank you. Thanks, Tammy. For Indigenous Peoples Day, several years ago, Southern Oregon University professor of Native American Studies, Brooke Colley, myself, and a student, Lupe Sims, we made a proposal for Southern Oregon University to have Indigenous Peoples Day as an actual holiday, replacing Columbus Day. And this also got Indigenous Peoples Day is also celebrated in our city of Ashland. And there's different ways in which we are hoping to participate. SOU, they are going to be doing a flag raising of the 9 different Indigenous nations that are within our region. They don't have the date yet, so I will have to send that date out to you. But at our family business, this first Friday and also the first Friday of October, which is Friday, October 7th from 4 to 7 p.m. We will be working together as Surge and Catalyst and the artist Isabella Saavedra, who used to be a prop designer at Oregon Shakespeare Festival. Unfortunately, her contract was not renewed for this year, so she unexpectedly had to move to Portland because she lost her job here in Ashland and had to get a job right away. But she does have a art show. So this September and also October, we want to support her as an indigenous artist. She's from the Pit River tribe, which is a small tribe around the Chico area in California. And so we are hoping that the members of Surge will come and participate and support her first Friday, Isabella Saavedra, on October 7th from 4 to 7 p.m. And the ways that you can support, in addition to your attendance, is to contribute drinks or food, or if there's music that you, even like a playlist or a musician that you would like to come play that you feel that is in alignment with Indigenous peoples, that would be welcome. But especially your support by attending and also like contributing to food and drinks would be great. And that will be in October. You could come check out her art though this first Friday, tomorrow already, at Catalyst 357 East Main Street, 4 to 7 p.m. to familiarize yourself with her. She will be giving a talk tomorrow at 5:30. I don't know if she'll be back on October the 7th for the first Friday then, but we are highlighting her as an Indigenous artist. And I will also keep you updated with other Indigenous Peoples Day events happening, which is, the actual day is October 10th, but SOU, Southern Oregon University, we don't have school that day. So it's really up to the Native American Studies faculty and students if they want to use this day, which we don't have school, to actually do their events, but usually the events are throughout that week. So I will keep you updated because they have not allocated their exact time and dates for their events yet. And feel free to, if you have any questions, comments, and other ways that you want to offer support for First Friday in October, you can email me and let me know. Thank you.
Gina?
Thank you. Quickly, I just wanted to say that I'm happy to hear about October 7th. It is First Friday. And for Southern Oregon Pride, we are going to loop in First Friday as a Prideful weekend. So, and we look forward to First Friday being a prideful First Friday. We've reached out to the art galleries, Bloomsbury, everybody to get on board. So happy to hear that, Precious. And then Saturday's a parade and Sunday is Eat Out Sunday. So we have restaurants on board. So we're gonna have fun.
Yeah, so be healthy that weekend or that week. There's a lot going on. On the 6th, our meeting and our sign making if you like to come. And then on and then Indigenous Peoples Day first Friday, and then the parade, and then the Eat Out Sunday, as Gina mentions, a lot going on that week. Thank you.
Great. Okay, anybody have any questions or comments about the events that we are doing and participating in? I think Juan Miguel and Angela, you can see we get asked to do a lot of things quickly because we only meet once a month. So, okay, and we've just lost Julie, which means we've just lost a quorum. So I can't do a motion to approve the minutes. We'll do it next time. Okay. Does anybody else have any closing thoughts? Because actually I'm leading this meeting from an area where there's smoke and fires, and I had to leave in Eastern Oregon and go somewhere else. So I really sort of want to check in on what's happening. Is there any other comments that people have? Gina?
Quickly, I want you to know that on September the 6th, this upcoming council meeting, we are going to look at commemorative flags, because that's something else that we couldn't take care of in August. But we're going to look at commemorative flags for Dr. King, Juneteenth, Indigenous Peoples Day, Aboriginal people. They are our Original Peoples Day. And we are even going to be able to hang a progressive pride flag. So I'm all excited about that. So the city is starting to get on board and acknowledge what's going on in the world.
Thank you, Gina, for mentioning that. It's,
If I could just cut in really quick, Anne, if you want to take the design that I did last year, I mean the one for the Juneteenth, and just resend it out to everyone, and if you guys want to add something to the flag that I designed for the Juneteenth, I'm all for that too.
thank you, Tammy.
Yes, sure.
I just want to follow up for just 30 seconds probably on what Gina's saying. It's a really important issue, actually, what Gina's bringing up, because there was a Supreme Court case that said that the city councils of varying municipalities, if they allowed one person to put up a poster or a sign or a flag on city property, that it was just an individual doing it, which meant that somebody on the other side, for example, then the city would be obligated to put up a poster or a sign, okay? And the only way out of that is for the city themselves to say, this is what we approve and this is what we're hanging, and it's being done by the municipality. So when Gina was saying about the city getting on board, that's what she's referring to. So thank you, Gina, for carrying that forward. Is there anything else? Welcome again to Angela and Juan. Welcome back to Amit and Tammy. Hello again to Precious, even though I see you all the time. Same to Anne and Gina. And good night, folks. Meeting adjourned.
Always good to hear your voice, Emily.
Thanks, Tammy.
We'll see